still a little tired. I want to just redo the video I did a couple days ago. I apologize if I sound a little out of it. It's getting hot now. I want to eat and take my black ass to bed because I'm tired. But I did a video that I intended to do one way at first, but I felt like I would have been disrespecting a dead person. And let me tell you, I told you the wrong shit. This is what I believe happened with Suge Knight, Mary and Suge Knight. Alright, so for one, if you don't know the story, Suge Knight is in jail, serving 28 years for manslaughter. Now, the other guy that he hit with his car refused to testify against him. But I feel like this is pretty much his fault. Let me tell you why. Well, I'm gonna just keep it real. I blame both of the people involved, not Suge. Let me tell you why. So glad I got a comment today, and I believe Suge was the victim. Let me tell you why. So Suge was, when Straight Outta Compton was in the making. I remember the Hebrew Israelites, right? ISUPK. I remember they had I used to see those guys live in person. They're not there anymore. I don't think they go on the street anymore and preach. They used to back like 10 years ago. But I remember General Yohana was like NWA. He was talking about black culture. He said black culture is basically what liquor to drink, what woman, what car to drive, what shoe to wear. He was like, NWA, niggas with attitude, right? Don't y'all know them niggas with college kids that the white man took and propped up? And I think I'm gonna show you the video if I can find it. But when he said that, I went with that, what he said, and I was going on every comment section like, yo, y'all know NWA, except with Eazy-E, was nothing but a bunch of college kids. But when they were talking about the movie Band in Works, this is like early January. So I didn't know Suge. So check this out. What I knew of Suge growing up was just from the Biggie movie, the Notorious movie. That's all I knew of Suge Knight. What we know of him today, I could attribute to Vlad TV. Because Vlad TV had Suge's dick all the way down his throat. Everybody around Suge, Vlad interviews, but he doesn't want to interview Suge. And you know why? And I'm gonna tell you why he doesn't want to interview Suge. I'm tired as hell. A couple years before Vlad TV blew up, y'all know he was a DJ. He used to do mixtapes. And y'all know he was using Tupac's music. Well, guess who pressed Vlad TV about using Tupac's music without asking permission? Suge motherfucking Knight. That's right. Suge got at Vlad over using Tupac's intellectual property. And I wasn't there, but it's safe to assume, based on Vlad's character, that he probably gave Suge Knight proceeds like an amount of the money from the mixtapes using Tupac's music. But that's why he made like a bunch of videos on Suge, because he claims they have never met before. They've met before. Suge pressed Vlad over that Tupac mixtape. Vlad got scared and he gave away money. He paid Suge off because he didn't want to no trouble. Cause why else? See, people that Vlad talks about, they have history. I mean, Marlon Wayans, they were supposed to do an interview. Marlon Wayans wanted like $40,000. Vlad would shit on Marlon Wayans, countless, like time after time. Lavelle Crawford did an interview with Vlad, and he got mad at Vlad because people took out of context what he said about gay people. And then, you know, that's Lavelle Crawford's a comedian, so I'm assuming he probably lost money for that interview. I don't know. But people that Vlad hates, he has some kind of dealing with them. Suge definitely pressed Vlad before. But I watched like almost every interview on Suge on Vlad TV. And this is what I've come to believe what happened. Suge was set up. I was going to say this originally, but I didn't want to speak on a dead person. This is what I feel happened. So Suge obviously knew that the movie was being released. They were working on a movie. And Dr. Dre, Ice Cube are like the directors. Well, they have all kinds of power on how the movie is portrayed. Because people were saying how that shit is like 95% fiction. I believe it is. The only part that I feel was real was that bus scene. I feel like that shit was real. Because Ice Cube, I understand Ice Cube went to college. Ice Cube was never like no gangster. I think he himself said he was never no gangster. Ice Cube, how do you talk about fuck the police, but you played a cop in 21 Jump Street? Or how do you go from having kids worrying about you would come home, break in their house, and kill their whole family, and now you go to making family movies? Like, Ice Cube is a respectable rapper. I personally think, and I'm going off topic, I personally think Ice Cube is better than Tupac. It's my opinion. Because it's like Tupac and Biggie are like the GOATs. But I feel that Ice Cube is better than both. Like I said, I'm not trying to put down Ice Cube when I said he wasn't like a gangster, and that's not something that you want to embrace. But back to Suge. Suge was trying to see what's up with that money, that straight out of Compton money. I mean, I hear my image is being used, my character, my name. What's up with that money? And Suge actually gained access to the set. And that was a problem because the guy they were paying to make sure he didn't come on the set, Bone, he wasn't doing his job because Suge Knight made his way onto the set. I think he talked to Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, and that's when he said they were going to meet up somewhere. But his ex-wife was like, he would never agree to something like that. But fast forward, they were it was an argument with Suge and Bone. Bone, see, Suge was trying to get a check, and Bone was like, yo, Suge, get up out of here with that nonsense. I don't got time for that. And Suge was like, yo, you acting real tough in front of all these police. You know, you over here woofing. You ain't gonna bust a move. I'm gonna just do a Suge Knight patch. You ain't gonna bust a move. Stop woofing. You know, I'm gonna get back in my core now. Get back in my core. And Suge got back in his core. Got back in his pickup truck. And they like to Bone, yo, Bone, go take an early lunch. Because you're under contract with Universal. We can't have you fighting, you know, just cool off, go take an early lunch. And this is where I say he was set up. So Terry Carter arranged for Bone and Suge to squash their little beef, settle the differences. They agreed to meet up at the Tam's Burger, the parking lot. And while they're trying to, settle everything, Bone, ran up on Suge, punched him in the face. You see the video. Suge was getting fired on with punches. And somebody on the last video told me, it was guns involved. I believe it was a gun, because Suge even said Bone had a gun. But Wack was like, no, he ain't had no gun. He was punching you in the face, and you probably thought it was a gun. But Suge was clearly being attacked. He was ambushed. I believe Terry Carter set that whole thing up. That's what I believe. And in the process, while Suge was trying to get away, he ran him over unintentionally. And same thing with, he was trying to get away from Bone. And in the midst of everything, they both got ran over, and one lost his life. Now, I know I'm not from LA. I ain't supposed to talk about y'all politics, and that's all good. But I think Suge was done really dirty, because if that was anybody else, they would have got off for self-defense. And this is why I think now Suge, let me just be honest, be fair. I feel Suge was done dirty, but Suge did have a lot of chances. Suge had a lot of chances from the universe to leave a lot of that street shit alone. Because let me tell you this, if Suge Knight, like I said, I got nothing but respect for Suge Knight, but if Suge Knight would have left a lot of that street shit alone, he would have been a billionaire today. Look at Dr. Dre. Like if Death Row was still around, like from the 90s, and they still had Tupac, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, there's a few more I'm missing. If Kendrick Lamar would have signed to Death Row, Suge would have been a billionaire by the 2000s. But it's just the way he ran things I don't agree with. It's a lot of things that he didn't have to do. Like, I would have just, CEOs are supposed to stay behind the scenes. Like, a lot of people don't know who Jay Prince is. They didn't know who Jay Prince was like they do now because of the internet. But I feel like Suge should have just stayed behind the scenes. He should have stayed out of the light, sorry, I'm really tired. Suge just should have stayed behind the scenes, man. But I gotta give it to him for the tactics he did use. Because a lot of people in the music industry that were getting pimped by white and Jewish people, record executives, they were fucking over black artists. And Suge, he made sure they were getting their money. They were getting fucked over. I told y'all the story a billion times. Suge, if a finance person was late with a check from Interscope, Suge would kick the door down. He'll take the finance guy, pick him up over his head, slam him through a fucking table like WWE because the check was late. You don't hear nobody else doing that. You don't hear Jay Prince. You don't hear Jay-Z, Ja Rule, none of that. You don't hear none of them people. It's nothing. There's no history of Jay Prince picking somebody up over his head and slamming them through a table. So I gotta give Suge Knight his credit.